Hello, hello. It's Friday, almost Saturday morning, and I am back with another live. And I was not going to go live, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go live because I have a 2-day event that I have to work, so I'm not gonna be on Saturday or Sunday. I don't think I will be, but I'm back with this powerful revelation that I got because I think it will help people thinking about writing a book. And tonight I am giving you 5 scriptures that actually state concrete evidence that we are supposed to be writing a book or books with an S. So share this broadcast with someone that is considering writing books or they have a writing gift per se. I myself, I have about 16 books published. So this is not something that I'm just talking about. I'm literally encouraging you tonight because I couldn't go to bed until I got on here and said this. So hope you have your notepad and everything you need because this is going to be real good. Okay, so let's get started. So, writing a book, I know that a lot of people talk about that, and it might scare you, it might not scare you. But tonight, these scriptures, I don't think y'all really have heard these scriptures before because it's kind of concrete, flat out. It shouldn't be confusing. So let's just dive in. So the first one that I found when I was studying, scriptures to help writing is Titus 3:14. So it's our people must learn to devote themselves to doing what is good in order to provide for urgent needs and not live unproductive lives. And so when you're writing, um, that is filling a need in the earth. When we are servants to people, we are filling a need. So when you write a blog, you write a book, even if you write a status, that's filling a need. And so we are to devote ourselves, like Titus 3:14 says, and I'll put it in the comment section once I get out of here. Um, we are to provide needs for people. So if you have a revelation, if you have something that you want to write about that will help people, I encourage you to take that jump into doing that because it'll really propel what God is trying to say in the earth. So let me just put this scripture in here. So that was Titus 3:14. All right, so the next scripture that proves that you're supposed to write a book is First Timothy 4:14. And it says, "Do not neglect your gift, which was given you through prophecy when the body of elders laid their hands on you." So it says, do not neglect your gift. So we are to pursue our gifts in excellence in it to prepare um, for what God has planned. So we're supposed to do everything in excellence. And I'm going to put this in the comments because a lot of people neglect their gifts. If you have been writing for a long time, and let's say you just stop because you feel like it's not helping you or you are afraid to help others in that capacity, you are neglecting your gift. If you know how to articulate yourself and you have a lot of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and you don't get on here and share with people through, it doesn't have to be a live video, but it could be through social media platforms and a graphic and something and a status, you're neglecting your gift. If you are a singer and God has gifted you a voice to sing and you don't use it to serve people, you are neglecting your gift. So I think sometimes we feel like we're not neglecting our gift because we feel like our gift doesn't matter. So we just don't decide to use it. And that doesn't make God happy. That actually is a form of disobedience. And so we, as the scripture states in 1 Timothy 4:14, in the beginning it says, do not neglect your gift. And so we have to assess every single day, are we neglecting our gift, neglecting our gift, or are we going to serve with our gift? So that's something that I try to stay on top of. I don't idolize that I have gifts, but I try to stay on top of, feeling a need with my gift. Let's go to the next one. I should have put, I'm gonna put this. Okay, the next one is Proverbs 22:29. And that says, do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. So, Proverbs 22, the whole book of Proverbs is a bunch of wisdom. And it states here clearly that when we're skilled, when we continue to perfect our gifts and our skills, we serve in front of kings. Nothing lower than that. So our gift will make room for us. So your gift of writing, whether it's a blog, whether it's a book, it will make room for you. And prime example is my recent book for children to learn about Africa and its art. Now there's, people starting out for workshops to introduce children to the different types of artwork of Africa. Doesn't mean that someone before me has never done that, but it makes room for you as a specific person. If God gave you a specific thing to write about, He's going to not leave you out there without other things coming along the way. He's not just going to say, okay, write this book and then nothing happens. It's going to lead to people that will put you in front of those people that you need to be in front of. And so if we neglect our gift, that will never happen. And we won't be in front of kings. We'll be in front of, what's lower than that, and we'll just stay mediocre. We're not created to be mediocre. We're created to do several things. And if you don't understand what you are supposed to be doing, I would encourage you to sort out who God is and how He created you. Take some time to sit. We don't like to do that these days. I don't know if it's like people just like to be busy. But you really got to discipline yourself in setting at least a couple minutes, like 10, 15, 20, and you'll learn that it'll really help you in the long run. So we're supposed to do excellence because our excellence will be rewarded. And that's another thing that Proverbs 22:29 brings awareness to, is that we are to work in excellence. And once we work in excellence, those king and queens that we are invited in front of, that they'll reward us. So let's see, what am I on for? The fourth one, I'm going really quick, but it is Jeremiah 32-3. I did the Message version. So It says, "This is the message Jeremiah received from God, God's message, the God of Israel. Write everything I tell you in a book. Look, the time is coming when I will turn everything around for my people, both Israel and Judah. I, God, say so. I'll bring them back to the land I gave their ancestors, and they'll take up ownership again." So, interesting thing. I wanted to read you all, with that being said, in September of 2022. I was consulting with God, and this is what came. I want you to write books. That's where the land of milk and honey is. So when I read Jeremiah 30, 2 through 3, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a form of land. When we read the Bible, sometimes we take it as like surface based. So we'll say, where's our land? We'll actually think it's like physical land, or we'll just take it, we won't dig any further. But sometimes your land is where your gift is supposed to be operating in. So if you are a writer, your gift can be operating online. Your gift can be operating in a form of a paper book. Your gift can be operating in a newspaper, or since those are going extinct, there's magazines that have switched to digital platform. Like, there's so many forms of land that our gift could be operating in. So I really encourage you to read the whole book of Jeremiah 30, chapter 30, because it is about restoration. A lot of us have went through a rough couple of years, and again, God is doing a new thing. So we are to live in that, and he's turning over the leaves. So I'm not going to be on here trying to preach a sermon, but also what I wanted to say about Jeremiah 30 is that we all have different stories to tell. So we're not going to all say the same thing. We're not going to all write the same thing. God is not going to give us all the same revelation. That is the beauty of our gifts, because if we're all gifted, if a couple of us are gifted in writing, it doesn't mean we all have to write the same thing. Sometimes God could tell you to write about the heart. He could tell me to write about the mind. He could tell someone else to write about the soul. This is just examples. We're not all writing about the same thing, but it's in unison. And so, um, we want to be able to write the words that he's given us, and that takes time. You have to sit at his feet and be um tune into what he's saying, shut the world out and tune into what he's saying, and not compare what you're writing to someone else, because he uniquely made us all different. So what he's going to give us is not going to be our neighbor, what they are going to write about. And then there's topics where people wrote on the same topic, but it's a totally different book. Revelation is written in different styles. And so don't get caught up in the comparison, because we do that a lot, with low self-esteem. So the last, number 5, and I hope this is helping, and I hope this is helping on the replay. I am going to put this up on YouTube. Um, Revelations 21:5 is the last one that I'll give you that gives concrete reason why you should write your book. So that is, and he who sits on the throne said, "Behold, I am making all things new." And he said, "Write, for these words are faithful and true." Yes, these are precise words to designated prophets in the scripture, but with specific assignments. But we should all take this into consideration. especially if you're a believer. I'll probably change that because I like to call myself a believer. But if you are a Christian writer, um, yeah, you should really be concerned with what God has to say more than what you have to say. It's all right to have opinions on things, but when it comes to what is on the heart and mind of God, you have to carry that through with your writing. There are certain ideas that I have that I write down that doesn't make sense to me. And it may make sense to whoever it's for, but at the time I could write something down that God has given me and I'm like, what is this supposed to mean? Like, who is this for? And it's not about us. It's about our gift being used to glorify him, and that's all that should matter. And so I really hope that you all get out of your own way and that you write your book. I mean, like if you don't want to start right away, well that's on you. But I encourage you to just at least journal. Like I always encourage journaling because um that'll warm you up to writing a book. You could look back on your journal entries and you could be like, wow, like I could really take this and make it something. Or you can also look back and on your Facebook or your other forms of platforms that you've written on, like Twitter, um, I can't say Instagram too. Look at all those platforms and you can consolidate probably a whole book from just what you've written on there. It's not as hard as people make it think. Well, people think. I can't even talk because it's late. But I really hope this helped. These are the five scriptures, and I encourage you to go look at more scriptures because it's going to really be eye opening to you. It was eye opening to me because I'm like, what scriptures does it have to back that you're supposed to be writing? Like everything we need is in the Bible. So there's a lot of just empowering scriptures to get us through. Even if you're not a writer, apply this to what you do because there's tons of scriptures for just business minded people in general. When we're in business as a believer, we are supposed to be following the kingdom way. And I actually helped my mom write a book on I was telling her like format it to where you're telling stories about what you went through because if we just continue to have books that don't really give people hope, especially during this time, um, people are going to not see the outcome, like not see the light at the end of the tunnel. So come on, y'all, whoever is gifted at writing, y'all need to rise up to the occasion. God is waiting. um all you got to do is ask. All you got to do is ask him, and he will provide all of what you need to write, even if it's just the topic, because sometimes and maybe I'll come back on it and I'll do something about that because I don't think people understand God's voice. um God's voice, hearing it is it's really not that complex. It's not like a movie. It's not like an audible voice. There are times where I heard audible, um, but it's not gonna come like that. Um, you might just get a thought of a word or like an idea or something, and that's what you have to look into, because the enemy, he tries to speak stuff in our minds as well. But that's like if we allow him to come in and saturate our mind. There's ways that you need to understand who's speaking to you. Is it God or is it the dark world? And you're going to be able to tell if you read the Bible a lot. You're going to be able to tell. If you renew your mind every single day, you're going to know that the enemy is never going to tell you to give or serve with giving information about what people need to know. So if you have an idea of helping people know about, let's say, helping people know how to grow their own garden, um, that's probably not from the enemy. That's probably from God, because there's scripture for that. There's scripture for that too. So understand who's talking to you. And don't be afraid to dig deeper. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You 9 times out of 10 got somebody around you that has done this or done what you're trying to do. And you just might have to take that opportunity to glean from them. Um, so I'm excited for you. But I wanted to go over those scriptures because we get in our own way. We really do. And we need to stop that. We need to go into the rest of this year and the next year, um, just busting out the gate with our gifts. And it's important that we always point our gifts back to giving God glory. Um, and serving people. That's what Jesus ministry did. It's he served. It wasn't about him. It wasn't about him getting rich. It wasn't about him. And these messages, these lives, they're not popular, and I can care less. Like, I used to care about that stuff, but I don't care no more, because I'm like, not enough people are actually talking about this. uh I'm not sure why, but I think it's because they, like to be popular and they like to be liked. And when you step out and do something like write a book, you're not going to always be liked. There's going to be haters. There's going to be, even in your own family, like they might just not like what you're doing because they never did it. Um, a lot of people I'm, around or been close to in my past, they could care less what I'm doing. They could care less what I'm doing right now. Like, they don't share my stuff, and you just have to get used to that when you step out on faith and you start using your gifts to give God glory. You have to get used to not being liked. That's just what it is. But guess what? The audience that you're serving, they will it will just give you much joy to know that you're actually serving someone that was in need of something that God had given you. That's more important. That's way more important. So don't get caught up in who's supporting, who's not. None of that matters. As long as you obey God first. Disobedience leads to destruction. So I'm going to get off, but I hope that this helps. I will upload this on my YouTube channel. You can follow, subscribe, Kristen Nicole Mann. And I have my other videos I've done. Yesterday I did 6 ways. I talked about negative talk. So that's up on YouTube. And thank you for the people watching. Um, I really appreciate the subscribers that I'm gaining every single day. And yeah, this will be on YouTube. So I will talk to you all later. You'll see pictures of my event. And hope you read further about writing. If you have any questions about the scriptures that I posted, you can ask me and I'll let you know. All right. Have a good night. Bye.